So I mentioned this at the top of the show that Republicans are really scared of Antifa because they're fascist, and anybody who is anti-fascist is their enemy. And to prove that, there have been quite a few stories coming out about young Republicans, air quotes, young Republicans who, just got caught up in, the whole game of it all, and they're online trolling, and they're just private messaging each other a whole bunch of Hitler related shit, and, how they love Hitler, and they're using the N-word a lot, and, slurs for the gays and for Hispanic people, and you name it, the racism is abound in all of these private messages. And a lot of these private messages came out recently, and it looks really, really bad. Speaking of which, I wanted to go to this article here, which is pretty good. Politico put this out. I love Hitler. Leaked messages expose young Republican racist chats. Everyone that votes no, meaning vote against me, is going to the gas chamber. It's just invoking the gas chamber. Oh, God, man. No, they're not racist at all. You're giving nationals so much credit and expecting the Jews to be honest. Also, we are officially under consideration for a Trump endorsement. I'm ready to watch people burn now. I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkey play ball. I'm not saying this. These are quotes from these asshats here. And everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to the gas chamber. They love the watermelon people. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. It's full on racism. So they got, I don't know, like 27,000 pages of these texts, and they found a shitload of racist stuff in there. They refer to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and then they mused about putting their political opponents in the gas chamber. But, they're just kids, right? That's what J.D. Vance calls them. They're just kids. I'm ready to watch people burn now. We got to pretend that we like them. Hey, come on in, take a nice shower, relax. Boom, they're dead. So these are great guys, man. They're great guys. And just so you know, because you're going to be hearing a lot about this, they are, they're just kids, man. Kids make mistakes. They make mistakes all the time. Look at these kids. These kids. That dude right there in the middle is like 35 years old. He's got a fucking comb over. Some of these guys are running for public office. Some of them are actually holding public office. And here's that guy, this dude right here. He's just a kid, right? His name is Peter Gunta. He participates in a CNN Politico grilled discussion at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. That's the dude that says if they don't vote for us, we're going to put them in the gas chamber. That dude right there, that kid with the beard and the comb over. He's just a kid, and kids make mistakes. J.D. Vance dismisses bipartisan outrage over racist and offensive young Republican group chat. So a lot of people came out against this because, Jesus, it's so obviously Nazi coded and Hitler loving and very, very fascistic. These will be the future leaders of the Republican Party. Some of them are already staffers for major Republicans that are in power as we speak. So it's running rampant in the Republican Party. I've said this before. Not all Republicans are Nazis or fascists. Of course not. But all fascists and Nazis are Republican. And this is what Senator Samuel Douglas, I believe, is employing one of these. He says, I am currently weighing all my options to ensure that the outcome of this is what is best for the safety and well-being of my family and my constituents, and I will make another statement before the end of the week. The public release of the young, I just love it. They just keep calling them young Republicans. Group chat that included racist language, jokes about rape, and flippant comments on gas chambers prompted bipartisan calls for those involved to be removed from or resign from their positions. I doubt that they will have to do it. They'll get a little slap on the wrist and the boys will be boys. It's like locker room talk. It's just Nazi talk. It's just boys being boys. But here we are in the year of our Lord, 2025, defending Hitler on fucking Telegram. Moving on. Here is JD's pants, and this is him defending those young boys.
Kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. But there's another angle to this that I just have to be honest about.
Oh, real quick. When it's a 16 or 17-year-old black youth, an actual child under the age of 18, and they get busted for doing anything, Republicans are first in line to say they need to be tried as adults. They're thugs and they're scary and they're black and they are adults. We should try them as adult because they did adult-like stuff. Adult crimes need to be punished in adult ways. And now we're talking about 30-year-old young Republicans, and they're just boys being boys, you know? Let's see his logic behind it.
I mean, I'm like an old guy at this point. I'm 41 years old.
He's 6 years older than that dude. They're young Republicans. He's 6 years older than that guy, and now he's an old dude. And by the way, I'm like an old dude. You sound like a Valley girl.
3 kids. I grew up in a different world, right? Where not most of the stupid things that I did when I was.
You're a millennial. What different world? We're both millennials, dude. I grew up in the same world that you did.
A teenager and a young adult, they're not on the internet. Like, I'm going to tell my kids, especially my boys, don't put things on the internet. Like, be careful with what you post.
Say all the Nazi shit that you want to, just don't write it down. Don't have any record of your racism. That's my advice to you. Be as fascistic as you want to be. Just, don't write it down in public, okay? That way you won't get busted.
If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to...
Who's the scumbag? The person that said the Nazi stuff or the person reporting on the Nazis saying Nazi stuff? Suck a bag of dicks. Actually, you'd probably enjoy that, JD.
Try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive...
This whole adult boys, adult sons started with Donald Trump and his 2 moronic, retarded children, Eric and Don Jr. They were adult sons. Donald Trump referred to them as boys in their 30s and 40s. They are adults, man. They are grown-ass men. Well, I use the word man loosely. They do act like boys, but they are fully adult. And they should be treated as such, just like these kids. JD's pants. I know you're sporting your gender-affirming facial hair, and that's not the only beard that you have in your life.
Jokes, like that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives.
2 weeks ago, people who were saying offensive jokes about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, his advice was you should go report on them to their bosses so they get fired. 2 fucking weeks ago, you were saying that shit. Oh, you wouldn't want to ruin these boys' lives because, they are on your side and they're fascist as you are. But those people, they need to be canceled. They need to have their lives ruined. They need to lose their jobs because they quoted Charlie Kirk. Get the fuck out of here, man. Seriously. You are like a one-way street.
And at some point, we're all going to have to say, enough of this BS. We're not going to allow the worst moment in a 21-year-old's group chat to ruin a kid.
He's 35. Yeah, I'm sure that there was some 21-year-olds, but their classification of young Republicans is from 21 to 40. That's their classification of a young Republican. Probably because there are so few young people that are Republican now, they need to stretch that out as far as they can just so they can say, hey, we've got a lot of young Republicans all the way up to 40.
Life for the rest of time. That's just not okay. Like, we live in a digital world. This stuff is now etched in stone online. We're all going to have to say, you know what? No. We're not doing this. We're not canceling kids because they do something stupid in a group.
We're not canceling the fascists. We're only canceling people who quoted Charlie Kirk. Here's Abby Phillips on CNN.
Referred to black people as monkeys and watermelon people. They fantasized about raping enemies and driving them to suicide. They supported slavery and sending political opponents to gas chambers to, quote, watch people burn now. Now, here is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at CNN's town hall tonight talking about Republicans and the influence that they have on social media.
They have been successful because they have also been very clear, especially digitally, about what they believe. That women are inferior, that they do not deserve equal rights, that they believe that LGBTQ Americans are subhuman, that they believe and are circulating disgusting racial and white supremacist messaging that they are able to get away with digitally and online.
Because they're young boys, and young boys, you know, locker room talk, they make mistakes. No need to cancel them for saying Nazi shit. Come on, they're just kids. Cut them a break. Maybe get him a razor. Help him with his comb over a little bit, that young boy. Got a little bit more here.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. The modern Republican Party under Donald Trump is an increasingly extreme organization. It's trafficked in some of the worst, most disgusting, hateful bigotry, racism, anti-Semitism. It's been part of their public pronouncements, and we're learning it's even worse behind closed doors. Just yesterday, Politico published some private chat messages from about a dozen leaders of the young Republican group across the country. MSNBC has not independently verified those chats, but Politico's reporting revealed a culture where racist, anti-Semitic, and violent rhetoric circulate freely. This was horrible, gross stuff. And it didn't happen in a vacuum. I mean, the rhetoric here is a core part of the formation of an entire subsection, a whole MAGA-centric cohort of conservatives. And when the news of these chats broke yesterday, you saw a really interesting dynamic playing out. So some Republicans, different levels in different parts of the country, did, I think, the natural thing, which was move to condemn what they read, condemn the chat members. Many of the people on that chat were fired or had job offers rescinded. The Black Conservative Federation, for instance, said, quote, "Let us be absolutely clear. Racism is not conservatism. Bigotry, hatred, and moral rot dressed up as jokes or free speech are the very evils that our movement must reject with moral clarity." The group called on every Republican leader, from national figures to grassroots activists, to denounce this behavior without hesitation or excuse. And again, to be fair, many Republicans were doing that until yesterday into today, when someone rode in to stop them. When Trump's vice president said, "Quit it, leave the kids alone." J.D. Vance is himself a creature of this extremely online right-wing underworld. One wonders what's in his chats, where he gained notoriety last year for following lots of white supremacist accounts, including a self-proclaimed historian who praised Hitler and claimed that Winston Churchill.
By the way, just to go back in the memory banks, it was J.D. Vance back during Donald Trump's first term where he actually said that Donald Trump is America's Adolf Hitler. So I guess him taking this job as his vice president means that it wasn't a bad thing.
Churchill was the chief villain of World War II. He still follows those accounts to this day, and maybe he just likes to read widely. Today, Vice President J.D. Vance did the thing that he always does. It's the just get over it approach.
By focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag.
Wait a minute. Weren't y'all so concerned about the group chat that the guy who assassinated Charlie Kirk, he had, and y'all published that shit and make it seem like it was the biggest thing in the world. Y'all care about group chats when it's your enemy, not when it's your people.
Is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do.
The worst thing in the world is not being a racist. It's being called a racist. Let's get that straight.
That's what kids do. Kids, young boys tell edgy jokes. Now, just to be clear, the members of the Young Republicans are not 9 years old, and they are not 15 or 16. In fact, they range in age from 18 to 40. J.D. Vance is 41. The people
He's an
in
old
this
guy.
chat weren't young boys. They weren't kids. They were career Republican political operatives in their mid-20s and mid-30s, otherwise known as adults or grown-ups or fully formed moral agents responsible for their actions.
Adult boys.
Like Peter Junta, he's one of them. Until today, he was the chief of staff for New York Republican state legislator Michael Riley. Junta worked for the assemblyman for 5 years. When the chair of the Arizona Young Republicans asked if the New Yorkers in the chat were watching an NBA playoff game, Junta responded, "I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkey play ball."
Nice.
Not a child, not a young kid, a grown man.
With a comb
And again,
over.
He chose to say that. That's his right in America. You can say that.
That's right, folks. We're not here to cancel you for your free speech and take away your free speech, but we have free speech and we can call you a fascist Nazi. That's our free speech. You say the Nazi thing, we get to call you a Nazi. Republicans' idea of free speech is, I get to say Nazi shit, you get to shut up. That's not free speech, dog.
He also ridiculed black people, Indian women, female and non-white pilots, and wrote, quote,
By the way, did you see the guy? This dude over here on the right? He is the perfect specimen. How come all of these guys, all of these examples of pure white blood, how come they're all fat, dumb, and ugly? Seriously, I keep saying it. It's DI for mediocre white guys. I am mediocre as shit, and I'm tired of competing with people with actual talent. So let's get rid of the people with talent. That way I look good. Get the fuck out of here.
I love Hitler. He threatened that anyone who voted against him in an upcoming election is, quote, going to the gas chamber. Again, J.D. Vance thinks he's a young boy or a kid and that these are edgy jokes. Junta has since been fired. He has also apologized, said the chats were released as by arrival as part of character assassination. Then you got William Hendricks, that's the Kansas young
Oh man, you are sporting the Nazi haircut with that side fade and all of that product in your hair. Yet again, look at the specimen here. This guy here, pure Aryan blood. He's got a lot of it. Look at him. You about to break the bench as you're sitting on there, chunk style.
Republicans vice chair. At 24, he was one of the youngest chat members. Again, 24.
You look like a lesbian woman.
Now, Politico says Hendricks used variations of the...
Sorry, that's an insult to lesbian women. You are sporting a lesbian woman's haircut.
N-word more than a dozen times in those chats. Hendrick also used an anti-gay slur, deployed racist expressions we won't repeat here. He was also a full-time communications assistant for Kansas Republican Attorney General Chris Kobach.
Oh, God.
Until he was fired yesterday.
Chris Kobach, man, that was the guy that helped Donald Trump look for all of the illegal votes back in Donald Trump's first term. And he spent 18 months on this investigation trying to find all of the illegals who voted in the 2016 presidential election. And he came back with, out of 1 billion plus votes, he came back with 31 possible voter fraud. 31 people. Okay, man, but this guy has been helping him out for the last 10 years. Okay. This Aryan elite.
Hendricks didn't return Politico's request for comment. These guys are not alone. Other members include a sitting Vermont state senator. Turns out you can't elect little boys to be a state senator. This state senator suggested in the chat that non-white women didn't bathe. And a Catholic high school counselor who responded to a gas chamber remark with the retort, quote, "I'm ready to watch people burn now." She has since lost her job as a counselor. Again, these are the people J.D. Vance went to bat for today. Adults, grown-ups, people who work in politics. The whole point here is to send the message from J.D. Vance. This behavior is good, fine, actually encouraged. It's part of what defines you as part of this in-group, like being an edgy edgelord who makes offensive jokes. That it will be defended by Republicans in the absolute highest offices, not by Democrats like New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who we'll be hearing from later in the show.
Some bad apples. These are the future of the Republican Party.
First of all, it's not some bad apples. It's a lot of bad apples. And what is the rest of that expression? One bad apple ruins the bunch. Nobody ever finishes that one.
This was so vile. It is hard to find the words to put into context. This is not one person saying they love Hitler. This is a whole lot of people saying things that are so disgusting and so abhorrent that everybody from the president on down should condemn them. There needs to be consequences.
Hold your breath.
This bull has to stop.
I happen to agree. The problem is this is part of the ideological formation of the new MAGA vanguard to kind of just soak your brain, right? Marinate it in the most extremist, discredited.
These are a bunch of adult boys, men who haven't been laid and they just hang out with other angry, lonely, unfuckable racists. If you want to find a girl, if you actually want to have sex, stop being a psycho-fascist. Start doing a little self-improvement. Maybe you'll get a shot at a lady. Or you could just hide away in your group chat, screaming and yelling about how everybody's inferior to your dumb ass. Oh my God. We could go on, but I wanted to go on to something in a similar vein. Adam Mockler, who is an actual young man, I believe he just turned 23 years old. He is pretty sharp. He is not quite as lefty as me, but I consider him somebody who is a strong voice in the Democratic Party. He goes on News Nation doing a little debate on stage next to a guy who was Charlie Kirk's production manager. I believe he's the guy behind the camera, or Charlie Kirk's producer for the Charlie Kirk show. He's on there with Bill O'Reilly and some Democrats and some Republicans, and it's being hosted by Andrew Cuomo's other Nepo brother, Chris Cuomo. I got a lot of unkind words to say about him, but he's not the offensive person in this video.
Heard from the question the last time, Adam, and then I'll give you another audience question. You said you had something you wanted to say in response to the American University guy who runs the Republican club there, and said that people came up and said they were happy that Charlie Kirk had been assassinated.
Yeah, I believe his name was Luke. He said that a bunch of young progressives were coming up and acting in insane ways. And as a young liberal, someone who's on the left, I just want to say
Hold on, but he's going to say the right thing and say that he condemns that. But if you've got a Republican person coming up to you and telling you that a whole bunch of liberals are saying some psycho crazy shit, I'd take that with a grain of salt, because he's trying to present his argument that they say crazy stuff, so why can't we say fascist shit?
Heartedly condemn anybody who is saying insane things about Charlie Kirk, horrendous things about Charlie Kirk. Anyone who is spitting or shutting down conversation, that is not what America is about at all. And I can very easily condemn when my side is going off the rails, but I just ask the bare minimum from Andrew. When they're talking about gas chambers and group chats, can you condemn that?
Are we really going to do this again? No.
So you don't condemn it?
He does not want to answer that question. It's like, dude, it's a straightforward question. Are you going to condemn fascists for saying fascist shit? Are we really going to do this? Yeah, dog, we're really going to do this right here in public.
Your energy is so aggressive.
I love Hitler,
Okay.
gas chambers.
All right, hold on.
Can't condemn that.
Just easy, buddy. Okay, so there is a whole conversation that
I would much rather have rather than answer your question about condemning Nazis for doing Nazi shit.
I want this to be attached to, okay? And the whole conversation is that
Word salad.
We have a guy who's running for attorney general in
I condemn that. But you can't condemn your side.
But your party is not disavowing it. It still supports this guy.
Name one Democrat that supports him in Congress who says, I support what he
Tim
said.
Kaine just got asked on CNN tonight and said, yeah, I still support him.
Supports what he said?
No, he doesn't support what he said, but he's not pulling
So
his
no
endorsement of the
Democrat
candidate.
supports what he
so
said.
You're going to parse. Okay, well, listen. I condemn what they say, but I still support them as
Thank you.
people.
Why did I have to pry that out of you?
You are parsing.
Because Republicans never admit when they're wrong, and they never apologize, no matter how bad the thing is. They never, ever apologize. They learned it from their daddy, Don. Don never apologized for anything, and he gets away with everything. There's a little bit more in this second clip here. It's pretty good.
Let's just say, let's be gracious and say, in the era of Trump, maybe it's a reaction to Trump. I'm open to those discussions. But there is a justification for political violence. It shows up in every poll, and it's coming from progressives.
Give me a fucking break, man. 75% of the political violence in this country is done by Republicans. Study after study after study. 4% comes from the progressive side. It's not non-existent, but it sure as shit isn't 3/4 of the political violence. Obfuscate much?
I spent all of my formative years watching the President of the United States talk about the opposition party like they shouldn't exist. His claim to fame and
The enemy within, we got to do something about him. All of these radical left lunatics, we got to do something about him. We got to lock her up. We got to punish the enemies. We got to put them in jail or put them down like dogs. She is a nasty woman. I didn't say she was black, but I said she was nasty. Yeah, man, he sounds really calm, cool, and collected, and always brings down the temperature of America.
U.S. politics. His claim to fame in U.S. politics was saying that Obama wasn't born in America. That is how he entered the political stage. He was famous before that, but that was his claim to fame. He was the first presidential candidate to ever chant "lock her up" on a political stage. He tried to coup our government. And I live in this, let me finish. Listen. I live in the city of Chicago. Donald Trump, over the past 2 months, has not only posted an AI video of Obama being arrested, but then after that, he posted an AI image of Chicago being invaded. After that, he sent the National Guard to Chicago. So I've spent my formative years watching the president do this. And just think about this. We saw these Nazi group chats, which I'm sure you condemn, right? This Nazi group chat.
Well, we can talk about it.
No, we can talk about it.
I want to talk about it.
Wait, so when they said gas chambers,
when
they say gas chambers, you won't. So you're like JD Vance. You just won't condemn this?
Well, I actually had JD on the show today. We had a whole conversation.
You guys can all condemn this, right?
Hell yes.
Thank you.
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on.
Chris, can you condemn that?
Yeah, but not Charlie Kirk's ex-producer. No, not that dude. And by the way, having JD Vance on Charlie Kirk's show, he's been dead for a couple of weeks now, man. When are you going to end the show? Or are you just going to have a memorial going on ad nauseum into the future? It's Jesus Christ, man. You are using the memory of this guy that you venerate so much. It's almost like you don't really give a shit about him or his death. You just care about using it as propaganda. Anyway, this guy's a fucking loser. He's such a douchebag. And a 22-year-old Adam Mockler put him right in his place. And I also wanted to mention this as well. There was a swastika flag behind the desk and a picture of a young staffer, another one of these young boys who is probably in his mid-20s. And he said, somebody snuck this flag in behind me. I didn't even notice it. It was not even there. Let's take a look. Angelo Ella, that's his name. He does look like he's young. He looks like he's in his early 20s, but there's the flag with a very prominent swastika right there, man. It is obvious as hell. To pretend like you didn't know that that was there or somebody snuck it in while I wasn't looking. I mean, when you sit down at your desk, did you see a new flag there? Give me a break, man. These excuses are just such happy fucking horseshit. And to top it all off, this happened earlier today. This is another dude. Trump's nominee says that MLK Jr. holiday begins in hell and that he has Nazi streak, according to text. MLK was the 1960s George Floyd. You are insulting everybody with that, including my intelligence. And his holiday should be ended and tossed into the seventh circle of hell where it belongs. Also, Charlie Kirk said something very similar about MLK. But I wanted to get to this part. Paul belongs in the Hitler Youth with the Uber Group Führer, Steve Bannon. The first participant in the chat wrote, referring to the parliamentary rank in Nazi Germany and the Republican strategist. Politico is not naming the participant to protect the identity of the interviewed for the article. And this is what he had to say. I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. I will admit it. Ingracia responded, according to the chain. One of the people in the group text said in an interview that Ingracia's comments was not taken as a joke, and 3 participants pushed back against Ingracia during the text exchanges that day. Referring to the white nationalist Nick Fuentes, another one, self-avowed white nationalist and Hitler defender Nick Fuentes, and the Live from America show on the video sharing platform Rumble, where all the Nazis go to hang out. A second member of the group replied, the new LFA show starring Nick Fuentes and Paul Adolf Ingracia, to which Ingracia wrote, laughing my ass off, hardy har. This guy right here is not part of the Nazi youth group that I was just talking about a minute ago. This guy is in a completely different Nazi youth group. So it's everywhere. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Young Republicans, 30-year-old Republicans, the future of the Republican Party. There are quite a few of them that be loving some Hitler. Anyway, we we have all got to deal with this one way or the other. I mean, first we've got to beat the fascist movement that we're facing right now, but we need to bring back shame. We need to excise these people from the political party that they have infiltrated. I don't want them canceled. I want them out of politics. Go get another job. Be a fascist elsewhere. Stop trying to rule over us with your Nazi sensibilities. Nobody needs this nonsense. Certainly not Republicans. It makes the Republicans look bad. Now, of course, the Republicans these days, like J.D. Vance, who very well could be president if Donald Trump's heart gives out on him at any moment. That could be our next president. And he's an old dude. I'm like an old dude. I'm like 41 and stuff, man. And they're just kids, you know? I mean, whatever. I mean, haven't you said any Nazi stuff in secret before? No, I haven't. Not everybody is like you, JD. Not everybody is like these Hitler youth that are doing everything they can to usher in a new Fourth Reich fascism in America. We need to cut these bitches off. We need to bring back shame, and we need to excise these bitches from political life permanently. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.